Let's talk about Boruto. So, I mean, this year, not to say, I mean, I guess last year, granted, this is 2021. Last year has been an up thrust, is that the right word, for Boruto compared to other years. And it's in no small part because, the anime's been a bit more serious, a lot more tangible things happening. The manga also, doing well, or not doing well, getting better in terms of quality. Actually, anyway, it's been a good year for Boruto. It's been a better year. I won't say it's been good, but it's been a better year compared to the rest of the years. So I just want to talk about what happened in 2020. Let's just say a review. We start the year Boruto with the Mujina Bandits arc, Mujina Go Todan, the first manga arc in a while. It started off well with the prison saga because it was, divided into two things. Obviously, as you know, it was divided into the prison saga and the actual manga content. The prison saga was, it left a lot to be desired, to be honest with you. I personally was not that invested in, apart from like the first episode and maybe the third one in the arc. Apart from that, I wasn't really interested. My issue with the arc, segueing from this actually, this is my issue with Kodachi, which is why when he was changed, like, respect to him and all he did, but I was never a huge fan of his or the way he wrote the series. There were a few things that I didn't like about the way he wrote the series. One, the first thing was, it's clear that he writes the story from like a novel perspective because he's a novelist, right? He's not a visual storyteller. It's clear that the story is written from a novel, from a novel kind of view. A lot of the things are, if you for example, the scene where the guy, the redhead, fake off-brand Sasori man, you know, hides in the prison. I mean, the tag. Now, that should have been done way better. If it was like someone who actually wrote manga for a living, that scene would not. That just felt like that felt like something you read in a novel. The way the whole tag thing happened, and you then imagine in your head, because obviously when you read novels, you're the one that controls kind of how you visualize it in your head, even though obviously the novel would describe and some things like that. But because this is anime usually adapted from manga, the visual like part of it just like it was so weird. I was like, why did when he hid it under somebody else's bed? I'm like, what? Why would you hide it under someone's bed? Just throw it out into the corridor, and they don't know which person. Like they may not know which person it came from. To be honest, so like that was a better plan than putting it under the bed. Two, another issue with my arc is why. I mean, they did say in the arc in like a passing sentence that the better version, like there are two wings of the prison. There's like the one for the harsh prisoners, and there's the one for the more small time prisoner, which is the one with Boruto and Kokori and all those other guys were. But I don't know, the prison stuff was just, it was weak. It wasn't like Prison Break. Everybody was, the people, they were just kind of pushovers, to be honest. When they were doing all this investigation thing, I found it weird why they were so cooperative with Boruto and Mitsuki. Even if they had nothing to prove, even if they didn't do it, I just felt like, why were they being so corporate? To me, it was just weird. It just felt nothing like a real prison. There was no real tension for me in the arc. Personally, it was just okay. I mean, Kamata was a G. I'm not gonna lie. For his sister and his family, he took the beating. So respect for Kamata. And then we end the arc with, or at least that section of the arc with shadow on person battles. I guess the way it makes sense, to be honest, with the lights. They could have also just fought each other's clones, but I don't know. I think it was absorbing their chakra, but it was an okay. Like, personally didn't win me over. The twist at the end was nice with the Mujina boss. I forget his name. Shojoji. It was a nice twist with him. How he ate Kokori. It was kind of sad that, or shocking that Kokori died. And then from there on, we started actual manga content. 148 episode one. It was kind of sad that they. I mean, probably for better, it was probably the better choice that they decided to remove Sarada's questionable speech patterns in chapter 11 of the manga, which is honestly why they have removed it here. I do think that when, I guess since Kishimoto is writing the manga now, it's going to be different, but if not, I felt like because of the way Ikimoto portrays Sarada and Chocho, I feel like when he does the time skip designs, they will probably a bit more raunchy. I don't know. That's just the vibe I get from him, because of the way he's portraying Sarada. So I feel like his design for the time skip, because he will probably have control over the time skip designs. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so the last 4 episodes of the manga content was cool. It's kind of sad that they did chapter 14 and 15 to one episode, which was the Boruto and Tento episode. I would wish they would have done one just to make it, I don't know why they're rushing. Then, that was really the main manga content we got this year. Then a lot of the transitional episodes, they were good. I like to give, episode 154 a shout out, probably my favorite one from the transitional episode. And, personally, I like Tsubaki. I love Boruto and Tsubaki's relationship. I wish they do more because one of my things is why people say, oh, this group is friendlier than the last generation. I guess they are in a kind of way, but I've like what interaction has Boruto had with Wasabi and Namida? Like I don't know how they behave when they're in each other. Very rare. Tsubaki, we've only seen him interact with that once on like the burger chips, and I hope they can build on that more. But I hardly see them interact. Even with Metal Lee, like they interact like, but not that much. The last like very notable thing I can think of what they did with Metal Lee was like interaction in terms of character interactions was like episode 3, where they were at the end, where they were kind of coaxing Metal Lee into playing games and, using his, good boy nature against him. But apart from that, like honestly, the friendship just seems like superficial outside like the main 6 people, to be honest. So for me, like it's just the remaining people like Sumeru's team and Denki's team. Like I mean, Iwabe, even then, like we don't even interact with them that often. So nowadays it's just superficial. Like Iwabe and Boruto will probably always have a strong relationship because of the strong foundation they had in the beginning. But I would like to see more and the relationship with the other team and like with our team rather, just more interactions. But anyway, we moved on to the character actuation arc, which was all in all, it was a good arc. Deeper standout character. There wasn't really any bad character in the show. It was a simple arc, to be honest. It was we go to get this stuff happens, we now have to do this, you have to do that, Boruto doing the transformation jutsu, the harem jutsu, not the harem, the sexy jutsu. That was nice. That was cool to see. Like I said, we saw Omoi in this arc as well. The quadruplets, they were okay. They were okay. Nothing. These characters were more of tell rather than show. So like for what they were given, I guess they were okay. It's just like nobody cares, to be honest. But I mean, there are people who do, to be honest. You'd be surprised. But yeah, I mean, honestly, my issue with this arc, while it was a good arc, simple arc, but my issue with this arc is it was not. It was very generic. It was like a generic arc. Even people that say, "Oh man, the development," I'm like, development was so generalized. Like, yeah, we lost to deeper. Okay, let's get stronger. That was literally the development. Let's get stronger. And like, Sarada, oh my god, like, I don't. She's been honestly probably from the 3 team 7. She's probably the most disappointing character for me because I'm just waiting for for them to do more with her because like what are they doing with her because she was like it's just not, to me it just doesn't hold weight. Like just to me it just doesn't hold weight, to be honest with you. It's just her character, I need to see more. Like I said, the development was just too generic. It was just oh my god, I can't move forward if I don't beat deeper. Okay, yeah, I guess like I need to be Hokage, I guess, like, sure, very straightforward, no real, like, introspection. Even Sakura, come on. Sakura had more introspection than Sarada. It was not this straight, just like, oh, okay. Like, just, to me, it's just, we need more. Like, why, what's, apart from, okay, Sarada wants to be Hokage. Let's think about it like this. Like, this was my issue. Sarada wants to be Hokage. But yet, if you ask me, the only reason she would be Hokage right now is because Boruto doesn't want to become Hokage. If Boruto said, I want to be Hokage and changed his mind, Sarada wouldn't be Hokage. And that is my issue with Sarada. Despite saying I want to become Hokage, in episode like 150-49, she was doing shuriken practice in her room. What? How does that help her become like she's aiming to be the best, and that's what she's doing. Shuriken practice in her room. What? Now, this could be also a reflection of the times, because we're in a more peaceful time, so they don't just train as hard. fine. The story should call to that and signpost that. Because if they're not going to signpost that, that's really not good and appropriate. They should signpost that, to be honest. Like, because it's just, we just need more. Like, what apart from Sarada's main character goal is to become Hokage, but what is the obstruction in terms of that goal? Why should I care that she wants to be Hokage? Like, I have no reason to care. Naruto wanted to become Hokage too, but there were also different layers that made us want to root for him. He was oppressed. He had a nine tails, no friends, bullied. Like, he was a funny guy, upbeat. He was cute with a cat. Nigga! There's a lot of things that Naruto had going for him, It's a little stuff. He was a wimp too. But like Sarada, she's like, oh man, she's this good girl. Uchiha Sasuke's daughter. So nice, so good. Everything's so perfect. I want to become Hokage. I'm like, okay, like I don't care. Like, it's not that I want to care, but there's nothing that's like I want her to be. There's nothing that's pushing me like, yes, Sarada, you want to be Hokage. Even if you die, I'll put my life on the line for you. I don't feel that when I watch Sarada, and that's how I felt watching this arc in terms of her character development. People were saying, oh no, yes, we can't lose here because I'm going to be Hokage. I'm like, I guess, yeah, sure, why not? Obviously. But for me, there was no weight behind it. There was nothing. I was like, yes, Sarada. When Naruto beats Gaara, I was like, yes, come on, I was rooting for my boy. When he was giving Neji the business and when Neji was telling him, you can't do this, Naruto was like, nah, nigga. It was, yeah, that's what I wanted. Obviously, they're different characters. But I feel like they need to do something. They need to do more with her. They need to give her something. Personally, in chapter, I think 11, when they were on the mountain, personally, I always felt from the interaction they had when Sarada asked Boruto about whether he wants to become Hokage. To me, it just felt there was some kind of inferiority complex there. Some people have said they don't agree. Some have said they can see that happening, but it may become repetitive because of there was inferiority complex in Naruto and Sasuke and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's in mid shonen, it's in My Hero Academia, it's in One Piece with Usopp, it's in Dragon Ball. It's basic. It's a staple of shonen. So I don't think they should probably just do whatever. Just make her more interesting. Is really what I'm saying. Just do more. Is what I want. Do more with her. Sarada is the equivalent of Naruto in episode 1 because at that point the thing is all they have is I want to become Hokage. They've not really delved, further. They've not really said why should I root for the person. Sarada is even not at episode 1 of Naruto. She's like before that because in episode 1 we already know Naruto wants to become Hokage and we now know what is standing in his way to become Hokage. But Sarada is just like she wants to become Hokage. It's just like okay, that's it. There's really no other real pressure apart from that. So hopefully maybe in the time skip, is they do some things with her and maybe her relationship with Boruto, depending on how we go to Moshiki and what happens with Sasuke in the manga, maybe that will spur her on and they can do more with the character. And let's not even talk about this manga. Sarada has done one thing this whole manga. Like in the whole manga, Sarada has done one like notable thing. People talking about Sakura was useless. Come on. Sakura was useless. Sakura had a whole fight to herself. I'm just saying, in the manga, I'm just saying. Sarada did Chidori once. That's all she's done. That's all she's done. People are saying Sakura is always shouting Sasuke-kun. Most of Sarada's things in the manga is Boruto, Boruto-kun, Boruto. Okay, I mean, there's no Boruto-kun, but it's in the arc is Boruto. Like, that's really it. Like, obviously, she helps here and there, and let's not even talk about Mitsuki. Oh my god. Mitsuki. When are they going to stop doing this, man? I'm just hoping that this time skip, they really do or what happens with Boruto really spurs the whole generation, not just Sarada and Mitsuki. Everybody from Iwabi to Denki to Meroli to Namina to Tsubaki. I just really hope whatever happens in the manga is really the changing factor, because if it continues like this, I don't really, because I don't know. We should also talk about Boruto, the main character. Yeah, and so now let's move on to the next thing. Obviously, another thing, the big thing that happened this year is Kishimoto came in. And like I've said earlier today in this video, I never really liked Kodachi personally. See, the thing is, Kodachi's overall storytelling, his plot progression is good. Like, I like it. In terms of where the story is going, I like the plot progression of how, okay, do this with the Kara, this with Kawaki is good. Like that I like. But there are two things that I can see from what I see in the manga that affects him is he can't, he's probably, I don't know if he can't storyboard for Ikimoto, because if he was storyboarding, the manga would be better than it is, to be honest with you. I heard they didn't even need to interact before. And two, his character interaction, apart from Kawaki, it's not that great. Like, a lot of the characters don't feel like the characters. A lot of the characters, for example, a lot of the fighting style that they use doesn't feel like the fighting style characters we use. I don't see their personalities, and which is one of the things that pushes a series. Like, look at popular series, like the best-selling ones. They always have big personalities, which is always leveraged on. Like, you know the reason why people don't care about the Boruto manga or this, it's not because the story is bad or interesting, because people just don't care about Boruto or Sarada, or like, people do, but obviously majority of the people don't, because they're not buying the volumes, obviously. And that's the thing. You can make a shit story, or like a well story in comparison, but the characters is what carry the series, kind of thing. Like My Hero Academia, I like it, you know. I don't, like, it's okay, like a 7 out of 10. But like the personality, Bakugo, Deku, all of these people, they carry the series. Toga, I don't know about Shigaraki, but I mean, I'm sure he's popular too. But I don't know. I don't read the manga, but yeah, and that's my issue with, and that's the issue with Kodashi's writing. Kodashi's writing doesn't highlight the personalities. In a novel, he would, because he would say what the characters are thinking. He would, you know how you write in a novel, because in the novel is a lot more descriptive. But in manga, you have to do like more visual stuff, more signposting, and which is not there in the manga, which is the issue. Which is why people don't see a lot of the quirks, other things that make them interesting, that make them tick, like Mitsuki, Sarada, the other characters, which was always my issue with him. And and the writing in the manga, there'll be things I'm like, but why doesn't, like, some things were just off, and which is why I was never a big fan of him personally. So when they said he was going, I was like, oh my god, God has answered me. I mean, like I said, respect to all he's done and what he's doing. I'm not even sure he's actually dropped the manga, because I don't know. Maybe Kishimoto just doesn't like Ishiki, because we'll see anyway. But hopefully Kishimoto is here. Hopefully he's hungry after the Samurai 8 failure. And speaking of Samurai 8, I mean, Samurai 8 like had good ideas, but the real issue with Samurai 8 is, like I've said, no matter how interesting your story is, nobody's gonna care if they don't care about your character. And that was the problem with Samurai 8. They were explaining locker balls. I read like 5 chapters, and I read like other chapters here and there. But like, I didn't care about Hachimaru. Like, Anne was the best character in the manga, and that was it. And I won't say she was fantastic, but she was definitely the best character. She got me, kind of like emotional once. Like, oh, Anne, But apart from that, like all the other characters, like and that was the issue with Samurai 8. It's not because the story was bad. It's just because he was explaining so much so early, when the characters were not, they are not, people that are not really invested in them. Look at Hunter x Hunter. We didn't explain then until we got to Heaven's Arena. Do you know how long that was? So we did a lot of things, built the character, save Killua, Kurapika, team bonding, all that before we started explaining the real powers, which is what I think Kishimoto should have done. For even in Naruto, when he did it, he didn't just start explaining chakra and everything off the bat. He did some stuff, gave them, all he even really taught them was like the walk on the tree thing, and built more character things. And so I don't know why he decided to go with this full-blown exposition dump in the manga for Samurai 8. I think maybe because he didn't want the manga to be long, because he was only aiming for about 10 volumes. And I believe, like, regardless of how popular it was, he'll probably have only done around maybe 10, 15, 20 max, regardless of how popular it was. So I feel like maybe he didn't want to spend so much time, doing character building and all that kind of stuff. So probably he just wanted to explain the whole thing quickly and focus on other things. Because if he was writing like a longer form story, he would probably focus more on the characters, then do the story. Because it's shorter, he's trying to cram everything into like the 10 volumes that he planned for, which I think was probably the downfall, because there are a lot of interesting, cool ideas, cool concepts in the story. Nice cipher. But hopefully now that, not hopefully, but sadly it didn't work out. But hopefully he can turn this failure into a success story for Boruto, now that he's coming to write it and change the story I'm saying that, what my predictions are for this next, I think for this next year for Boruto in terms of 2021. Obviously, we're entering the timescape this year. I would say June, like halfway into the year, I would say we enter the timescape, because if you think about it, some people have said like 2 or 3 chapters. No. Let's think about it like this. We have to think about these stories in volume format. How are they going to sell these volumes? We're on chapter 53 now. They just released chapter 14, 13, maybe today or yesterday. Chapter 13. 13 times 4 is 52. You subtract 1 because volume 1 had only 3 chapters plus the MITSUKI chapter. So there's actually 51 chapters in volume 13. So volume 14, which is the one that will come in April, will have 52, 53, 54, 55. 54, which is the next chapter that comes out in January, is obviously going to be the Moshiki, Sasuke, whatever happens there. That's chapter 54. Chapter 55 will end volume 14. So that's probably what's going to end this whole fight or whatever is happening in this dimension, which is what I think volume 14 will end. Then volume 15 will probably be the fallout of, how is Sarada going to take it, Mitsuki, the other people, Sumire, Hinata, what's going to happen, the fallout, Gara, people in the other 5 villages, what's going to happen with them, Also going to be set up for the next arc. Maybe you will see some MITSUKI watching the sky. I honestly think that, I don't know, I may be wrong, obviously, but I may be wrong, but I think Kishimoto, he's going to bring in his own group of villains or Akatsuki in the post-timescape. I don't think we still have Code, so we don't know. I'm not sure what will happen with Code. But I feel like he would maybe bring in his own group of people, like an Akatsuki, but Otsutsuki Akatsuki team version, where he is in more control of the personalities, the things that make them tick, make them better antagonists, more full-fleshed. And I feel like some of the ideas he had from Samurai 8, you probably incorporate them into the Otsutsuki clan and whatever is happening. That's what I think. So back on what I was saying. So if you think that volume 14 is just going to end this Momoshiki, Sasuke, and them in this dimension fight, then volume 15, which would be 56, 57, 58, and 59, is probably what will focus on the fallout, and then the timescape will probably happen after that or in that volume, is what I'm thinking. So, and that's like 6 chapters from now. So I can't see the timescape for another 6 months. But anyway, we'll see. But yeah, we're about to start the our arc, or the vessel arc, Utsuwa, Utsuwa no Hen, as they're calling it in the anime. So I'm pretty excited. I've been jamming Ikemonogakari's opening, the teaser. That opening is gonna be banging. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be banging. A lot of people are gonna be singing it for karaoke. Woo. Yeah, but it's been nice. Oh, I should mention Mugino has been one of the standout characters from this. He's probably one of the best parts that came out of this whole arc. I love him. His backstory in episode 180. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it was like, it made me endear to the character. And when he dies, I can already tell I'm going to feel sad. So, studio period, the people who wrote the script, good job. We're excited for 2021 Boruto. And just in terms of the anime, what I'm expecting, I know people are saying, I think they're going to divide it into 2 halves. Because obviously the opening changes 2 in 25 episodes generally. So if you think about it, I think there's going to be a pre-Kawaki development and a post-Kawaki development. I think that's going to be what's going to be for Boruto 2021. So if you think about Kawaki because Kawaki got developed before and after the Delta fight. He was a certain way before the Delta fight, then he was a certain way after the Delta fight. So before the Delta fight is when he was kind of antagonistic towards people, and after the Delta fight is when he started, trying. So I think that's how they're going to separate it. So I think the first 25 episodes is going to be, the Ao arc, him in the village in the beginning of the manga contest, some training. And I think the second 25 episodes, which is the second half of the year, will focus on the Delta fights and then his development after the Delta fight with training, bonding with, the rest of the village and all that kind of thing. Then in 2022, that's when I see we go into Jigen fights and all that kind of stuff. So that's my predictions. But anyway, if you guys, tell me what you think about this, what of my ideas, if you heard the whole thing. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys. Actually, I'll do definitely opening reaction for opening reaction for the new opening. But I don't know about episode, but we'll see. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys. Safe.